Anthony Furey, onshoring is well underway, and that's great news. Bringing back the manufacturing of goods to be built on home soil by domestic labor is becoming a trend. Anthony Furey, onshoring is well underway, and that's great news. Bringing back the manufacturing of goods to be built on home soil by domestic labor is becoming a trend. Not so long ago, it was challenging to find any talking head or academic willing to sing the praises of onshoring, the process where products that were previously manufactured overseas are brought home to be built on home soil by domestic labor. It was common to hear supposed experts scoff at Donald Trump's plans when he first insisted that America needed to bring back manufacturing during the early stages of his presidential campaign. They want return at any point. They kept repeating, onshoring, or as it is also known, reshoring, is all the rage right now. When it comes to general onshoring and the pivot away from China, the Biden administration has picked up where Trump left off in a unique way. Several federal cabinet ministers have now made speeches urging a break from China. Speaking in Washington, D.C., was Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland the other month on the necessity of friendshoring, in which we switch from trading with countries that are our enemies to those that share our values. Again, this is something you wouldn't have heard a few years ago, at least not from the Liberal administration of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trudeau's government has proposed completely cutting ties with the repressive government in Beijing, despite the fact that it took a lot of effort to convince him to forbid Huawei from contributing to the design of our 5G grid. Take the good news when and where you can find it, even though it was unexpected. But what does this mean for our economy more broadly? After all, one of the main reasons so-called experts had previously claimed that onshoring and decoupling was impractical was because we have become so dependent on China and other unfriendly countries for so many things. To avoid abruptly cutting off access to markets or lower cost production, companies must time their decoupling to match the pace of the markets, according to management consultancy Bain and Company in a recent brief on decoupling. Many Canadians may lose their homes in the months to come as a result of the high inflation and rising interest rates we are already experiencing. We don't want to further exacerbate affordability for Canadians, despite the importance of a rapid decoupling from China. Additionally, it extends beyond simple consumer goods. There are some issues that are extremely important to our economy and could face significant challenges in the months to come. Supply of semiconductors is one of them. The well-known venture capitalist Chamath Palihapitiya speculated on a recent episode of his well-liked All In podcast that delays in the supply chain of semiconductors coming to America could be responsible for driving inflation much higher. We rely on semiconductors for a huge number of everyday items. For instance, we can't build cars without them, and cars need a lot of them. Actually, Taiwan, and more specifically Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company Limited, is where the majority of the world's semiconductors are produced. Often abbreviated as TSMC, the United States and Canada have both expressed a desire for improved ties with Taiwan, including in trade. Therefore, a decoupling from China wouldn't prevent Taiwanese consumers from accessing this valuable product. However, as Palihapitiya explains, if the supply chain in that region experiences hiccups or slowdowns because of changing relations with China, that could cause issues for the transportation of semiconductors. I recently spoke with Jin-Ling Chen, Taiwan's Director General in Toronto, who brought up the fact that although TSMC recently opened a manufacturing facility south of the border, in Arizona, the company currently only has a design center in Ottawa. Canada's government should be actively supporting the construction of a facility here, as the Alberta government has already done. Chen continued by expressing her hope that the Ontario provincial government will establish a trade office in Taipei. Imagine being able to produce a crucial good here at home, contributing to our economy and exemplifying Freeland's friendshoring philosophy. So let's use our allies to welcome new manufacturing jobs while also bringing back existing ones. During the Trump administration, fewer jobs than the former president had hoped returned to America. The process has moved slowly. However, the fact that the Biden administration has persisted with it suggests that the campaign for onshoring will enjoy long-lasting bipartisan support and is now the default position going forward. Let's hope that Canada joins in on the momentum. What a waste of time all those talking heads were who claimed it was impossible. The author's opinions, which do not necessarily represent those of the Epoch Times, are expressed in this article.